Hi guys, it's Sebastian here from Noble Frugal Studio, and today I have for you guys a video which is sort of like a continuation of my last video. If you guys watch my channel, then you probably notice I'm kind of doing that sort of thing with my your second animation. And this video, this is going to be Opentoonz more effects, because when I did my first Opentoonz effects video, I did show you some of them and how to apply them, but there are so many other kinds of effects that are just amazing, and they really add a very nice touch to the use of Opentoonz and stuff like that. So what we're gonna get to today is, well, to get to today is something like shading, glow, gradients, blur, lighting. I think we already did blur in the last video, but we'll go over it again just in case you guys don't remember. And something called generated effects, which is gonna be really cool because I'm really excited to show you guys this, because one person did ask me how if I could figure out how to use rain in Opentoonz, and I had no idea, but now I finally figured it out by just testing it out, really going through the well, it really wasn't that hard to figure it out. It's kind of straightforward, but I might as well tell you guys anyway. I just sort of, because it's a little bit intimidating to go through this software, so I guess you just got to get the junction to do it, and that's why I'm here for you guys to tell you guys today. So what we're going to go through first is how to add shading in Opentoonz. Now I'm going to show you guys this animation that I made, which is a basic bouncing ball animation. If I can zoom out here, there we go. Bouncing ball animation that I added some glow and some shading to. So let's just see this, make this loop go background. So this is probably going to be one of the things featured in my animation reel that I'm going to do for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys again for all the support you've been giving me. But yes, as you guys can see, there is shading on the bottom of the ball, and there's a light on the top of the ball. It's kind of glowing. If we pause it around here, there's shading's kind of blurred a little bit, and there's a little bit of shine on this light right here. So let's X out. But when it's not rendered, it doesn't look like there's this weird triangle thing we drew. And why is that? So the first effect I'm going to show you guys is called matte in. And what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to copy this. We're going to hide all these, and I'm going to recreate it. So I'm going to copy this level right here, Control and copy. Okay, so we have our basic. Let's make sure we can't see all these either. And so we have our basic bouncing. I can collapse these, right? Yep. All right, so we can collapse fold column. Yep. Okay, so we collapse those columns. That's how you do that. So we have our basic bouncing ball animation. Now, if you guys want a tutorial for this, leave a comment and I'll get to that. So how do we do the matte in shading? Now, a strategy you could do for shading is actually use the markers in Opentoonz, which is when you go to new style, you create like a color like that. I use making them very red so I know where they are. You go to settings and auto paint for lines, check that. You just go like this, like that, and then you create the shading color you would like. In this case, mine would be darker. It would be like a red, orangish. And when you fill something with that line, let me go back to normal mode. There are different types of filling in the fill tool, guys. If you just click on this, go up to type, and you can find select different types. Go to normal, and then it fills in the color. But as you guys can see, you have to draw the line very specifically, or you get these kind of like clipping sort of edges. And I don't really like to do that because it makes one frame contain a lot of data that is just unnecessary, and so it can actually bog down your CPU too. And so a better idea is to create a whole nother column, and it makes their life so much easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw to create another column. Again, guys, preferences, go to, where is it? Drawing, use X sheet as animation sheet in order to draw and create frames immediately. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to choose our shading color. And since I want to shade it in a sort of red, let's do like a orangey kind of red, right? So all we're going to do is when in the space in the ball, we're just going to draw where we want the shading. Don't worry about the lines out. And then what we're going to do is going to create an area that we can fill, right? And we're going to fill that in. Boom. That looks terrible. That doesn't look like shading at all. Well, it's about to, my friend. So we're actually going to turn the alpha down on this, which is this M right here, M slider. Slide that down so we have the little bit what it's going to look like. But when we render it, it still looks like a slice of badly cut pizza. So what we're going to do is going to go use our matte in effect when we go to, this is column 6. Okay, make sure to name your stuff. I'm not going to name it because I already named the originals, and these are just copies. This column 6 is our shading column. And what we're going to do is going to add a matte in. I mean, what a matte in is going to do is going to make it so the shading will only appear inside the area where the ball is. So column 6 is our shading, and column 5 is our ball. And to name columns, all you do is double click this, and then we'll do shade 2 because this is my second version, just showing you guys. And this will be ball 2. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go to ball 2, and what you would do normally is you just add the shading on each layer. So if it was, I would just go down and copy, you know, I would just do the shading like this on this layer. So you just go down, and then fill in every frame where the shading should be. So I already did that, and just for this is just an example. I don't really want to go through all that yet. So what we're going to do is, yeah, that looks fine. So we're going to our shade 2 layer. We're going to go to insert effects, and we're going to go to matte. We're going to select matte in, and what we're going to do is we want the ball to be the matte. Now when we render this, we get this awesome sort of ball shading look. Now the reason it does look kind of weird and orange is because if we change our color a little bit, let's select a let's go on the shading one and select a darker orange, maybe darker red for that matter, and it should look a little better. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Now a lot of times what you guys will make a mistake, and this is so convoluted. Let me clean this up a little bit so you guys can actually see what lines are going to what, and I'll move these effects over. So this effect schematic can be a little bit convoluted and complex if you don't know what you're doing. So what we have here in this matte in is the source. The source is going to be the shading because that's what we want to matte into the ball. And what we have another is the ball, which we want it to actually go into. And so we want to put the ball, this slider, you can actually delete this line. You want to click right here, drag, and go into the matte. So, and then it becomes like this, because otherwise it would just be like that. And so we're going to go in there. And then what you guys will notice sometimes that you won't actually have this line. And where does that line go to? That line goes to the X sheet. So as you can see, your ball doesn't show up at all. So you want two lines. You want from the ball to the matte and the ball to the X sheet. Now let me actually find a way. Let me just drag this X sheet up here so I can actually drag it. So we want the ball to the matte and the ball to the X sheet. And at the end of the matte effect, this will also go to the X sheet. So now we have our successful ball shading. Now with shading is very interesting, but it still looks kind of boring. We do need to add some lighting. So we're going to create a third column. Let me get out of this effects, and we're going to create some lighting. What we're going to do is just draw a circle. Let's go for a very bright yellow, more yellowy yellow like this, and we're just going to draw a circle right here. Now I know that looks pretty bad, but let's say it's the sun's lighting, and the sun's lighting is yellow, and all we have to do is just go down the frames in our bouncing ball and then just draw, you know, the circle that we want. Now what we're going to do with this is we're going to add the glow effect, as you guys saw in my tutorial on glow, but we're just for the sake of new viewers, we're going to do it again. So let's go to our column 7, which is down somewhere right here in the middle of nowhere. And we're going to add insert effect. We're going to insert light and a glow. Now we have this very nice glow that we have on all of our frames, and the way we can edit this glow is through here. You can add the blur, the brightness, the actual color of the light. Say if we edit this, double click this to bring up the style editor, you can make it green, and it doesn't really change too much, I don't think. Yeah, so we're just gonna leave it at white. So you guys can test that out for yourselves, but we're gonna actually make it a little less yellow on this part, this end of the spectrum. I'm gonna go a little bit like this so it looks a little better, and now our glow looks perfect. So now we have our cool looking, you know, bouncing ball that has shading and lighting and everything. And since I already did this, excuse me, I can just delete these columns now. So let me undestroy these. So that's pretty much how you guys use matte ins. They're very, very useful for shading. I feel like it helps to make an entire another layer, because it kind of like makes everything less complicated. And you don't, even if you don't want to erase the actual drawing, you don't have to erase all the markers. And I believe these also do work on vector layers. So it's really just the same thing with vectors. Same rules apply. And to make a vector layer, if you guys don't know, you just got to go, if you're not already, if it doesn't automatically create vector layers for you, which are yellow columns, you go to new level. You can select what type you want. I use toons raster. Some of you might have toons vector as a default, and there's regular raster levels and scan levels. I'm not sure what scan levels are though. And so that's pretty much it for matte in. Now one thing I'm going to show you guys is going to be the gradient effects that you can use in Opentoonz. I don't know which one. Oh, here it is. So the gradient effect used in Opentoonz is probably one of the best just tools for making a regular gradient. So right now, as you guys can see here, I have this regular panning scene of just like this master sword looking thing, and there's just mountains around it. And but I don't have a sky. I don't want to draw a sky because I don't want to use the fill tool and like ruin all these colors. And so what I can do is go under the frame and add a gradient. Now my gradient isn't here, so we'll have to create one. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to draw on a layer to create a new frame, right, like this. And since we want a gradient sky, we're going to go all the way to animation, and this is column 3. So always remember columns will correspond. And if you guys don't have this FX schematic, then you're going to click this little button here, and this is what it may look like for some of you. Just click this little thing here, and then you'll have what I have. I should have said that earlier, but yes. So you'll click insert effects, and you're going to go down to gradient. Now for our sky, I would use a linear gradient, but I'm not really sure how to, is it select? I don't know. I don't really know how to rotate this. And we want a gradient as an up and down so we can get that light kind of look. So what we're going to do, instead of a linear gradient, let's delete that. We're going to use, actually you don't even need to create a new column for these. We can actually delete this, because gradients are effects that you can add, and they create their own column. So we're going to go to 4-point gradient. Now as you guys can see, we have 4 different points on this column, and we're going to double click on this effect. Now when we render, we're going to have this really weird trippy looking color mix that's automatically creating brown everywhere. No one wants a brown sky unless you're a very skilled animator. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click this and change the colors a little bit. So I'm going to change this to white, and I'm going to change the green to white also, and we're going to drag those two in the middle, and that's going to be our sun or sky kind of area. We're going to change the blue to a lighter blue, and we're going to change the yellow to the same lighter blue, or just similar. We're going to move those. I'm going to move these off screen actually. I should, because they're gonna make it the color difference look too. There we go. That looks much better. So now we have our sort of gradient sky, which looks really nice. And all we have to do after this, I opened so many style editors. All we have to do after this is go down to here, or go back to basics, and we click render, and we have our sky. But we can just drag it under all of our frames, and bada boom, we have a cool, awesome panning scene. Which we'll have to render, but we have a cool, awesome panning scene that we can have for, we can just have a sky in our middle. See, look how beautiful that looks with the mountains. Looks like a real sky. I like that. I really like this tool because it really makes Opentoonz feel like a full-featured software. I mean, look how beautiful that looks already. We just have our full-featured sky, and we didn't have to go in another software to create another gradient. We can do it right here in Opentoonz. Alright guys, and last but not least, we're going to have the generated effects. Now these are my favorite Opentoonz effects because they're just really, really cool, and I didn't really look up too many videos, but they're just really awesome. I haven't really heard of a lot of discussion. There probably definitely is videos out there about them, but what we're gonna do is going to extend the exposure of our columns here. And as you guys notice, I have 3 columns loaded up. I'm going to show you guys 3 effects today. I'm going to show you guys how to have grass, which is some grass I drew in Krita, and how to make rain, and how to make smoke. Now first we're going to start out with the grass, since it is for the first column, which seems to be a little bit laggy to click on, I guess because it's a foreign image. So what we're going to do with this grass is we're just going to literally, all you guys have to do is draw, even in Opentoonz. I did these 2 in Opentoonz. All you guys have to do is draw a single strand or 2 strands of grass. And what these effects need loaded into them is something called a texture. And so we're going to take our grass column and we're going to go insert effects. We're going to go to render. We're going to go to particles and we're going to go to grass. Now, the particles things has a control and a texture. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the control does, but today we're just going to focus on textures and stuff like that to make the effects actually show on your screen. And before, if it lets me click on this, yes. So we're going to drag the grass slider right into the texture, and it's going to make the grass column gray. And that means that it's going to have automatically generated grass. And so what we're going to do is going to double click on this to edit our effects settings in grass. So you guys can have the rotation speed, which just makes the grass spin, which is not exactly what grass does. I did try it and it didn't look good. So I'm going to make maybe some wind intensity. Let's do wind intensity to 20. Why not 20? Wind angle will have 10 degrees. So I don't know what that's going to do really, but it's going to have its see, there even is effects help. I just didn't look at it. So you can set the birth parameters, which means it can edit your picture and make it look more random. For now, we can do like speed, which I don't exactly sure what size, mass, and orientation means that the grass will look different. So our our size from 5 to 100. Let's just increase that a little bit. So some grasses will be small, some will be really big, and there's probably perspective distribution. So maybe we'll just put that on, see what that does. And we're going to hit preview and hope this loads up quickly. Looks like it, or it doesn't. So this might take a while to render, especially if you're on a low-end machine. I don't think grass has a very nice time rendering. It does take a little bit of a while to render, so maybe while it's doing. Oh, there it is. See, wow, look at that. The perspective thing really did its job. So now we have a very interesting looking image. So we can edit this and make sure that the grass doesn't, lift off of the ground. I want the orientation to be lifetime top layer. Top layer is going to be, I don't know how to make it. I knew at a time how to make the grass all on the same level, but I don't know how to do that now. So I will find that out and probably leave a comment for you guys on how to make the grass not stink, because this doesn't look that great. But I'm sure there's a way. I've just forgotten how to make the grass not look like it's kind of terrible. And so I will leave the comment or something in the description for you guys once I figure that out. So, but even this, it looks pretty good. Like, it has a whole perspective thing going for it. If you had it going in the opposite direction, you could have a whole 3D looking background in seconds, guys. This is awesome. And the thing is, you don't have to only have one texture. You can upload another texture into Opentoonz, put it in texture 2, and then it'll randomly spread out the grass. So you can just make a bunch of grass pictures and automatically make grass. And you only have to draw like 5 blades of grass if you really want something good looking. That's crazy, guys. I can't even believe that it has this sort of feature for a free software. So now we're going to delete the grass particle so it doesn't lag our computer. My computer, not ours. Sorry, guys, I'm not sharing. So we're going to go to grass and we're going to do insert effects, and we're going to do render, particles, and rain. Bring this up, plug the rain into the texture, the rain we drew into the texture. And I do this in Opentoonz, guys. Just use a couple of styles to make it look, just normal rain. So you can use things drawn in Opentoonz, I believe. Yeah, you can draw in Opentoonz to, you don't have to draw it in another software. You can, but it's not, required. And so what we're going to do with this is, I don't think we just have to load it up. If you just double click, you can affect the birth parameters, all that stuff. And let's just see what it looks like. I think this one loads a little faster. Yep, it loads a lot faster than the grass. Let's see if we can get a nice preview of our first few frames. Do preview. Can we? Oh, I think we can, guys. This is nice. I like this. All right. So, see, yeah, now we have the rain falling. And that's just, isn't that something? So if we drew, I prefer not like these giant droplets. Maybe I draw, instead of that, I draw like a, let me actually see if I can erase this. Instead of this, I would draw, let's erase this, like a thin, a very thin come on, here we go. Let's say we just drew like a very thin line, like such as this, because that's really what rain kind of looks like. It's more of and you see it in anime a lot. It's just a long straight line. Let's see if our editor can. Oh wow, look at that. That looks amazing. That looks amazing. It looks like it's actually raining. Can you believe that, guys? So right off the bat, the editor already has its own, you know, finesse with the rain, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. Wow, it's crazy. Wow, I'm just having so much fun with this tutorial. I can't even focus on the length of the video. It's gonna be a pretty long video, I know. And so lastly, guys, I'm gonna show you guys the smoke effect. Now, I actually didn't think this video was going to end up this great, and so I'm just loving it. So let's go to same render. Should be calling these render instead of generated effects, and we're going to go to smoke. Where is it? Okay, that's my autosave in Opentoonz. I'll show you guys how to set that after. Render particles, and we're going to go all the way down to smoke. It'll take a little while. Oh, it's already here. Okay, so we're gonna pop this smoke texture. I drew this in Opentoonz as well, and into the texture, and we're gonna go to preview and see how it looks. I'm very excited for this one. I did check it out before the video. Oh my goodness, it looks amazing. So that's the one we drew right there, and this just looks amazing. Look at that. Oh my goodness, I can't even believe it. I drew one kind of, you know, kind of crappy kind of smoke sketch, and then it just turned it into this like, I don't know, variation of opacity and all this stuff. It's just crazy. It looks absolutely beautiful. And of course, not for all styles of animation this is going to work, but it really depends on how you draw your smoke. If you just draw multiples of these on multiple columns, and then we can make some really good smoke, and I'll probably, you know, share some of that with you guys on my Twitter and everything. And so wow, I'm gonna go back to the rain because I love that one. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. But one more thing before I do that, I'm gonna go to show you guys how to do autosave in Opentoonz. So I think you go to loading. No, where is it? I need to learn how to navigate myself through these menus because I generally just do not know. Oh, here we go. So it's on General tab, the first tab, and you go to save automatically. I do mine every 6 minutes because I tend to work usually in sketches, and sometimes I get a lot done in a short time, and I just want my Opentoonz to auto save my thing, so in case it crashes, which it occasionally does, we won't have to lose anything important. Let me go back to that rain. Oh my goodness, that rain looked gorgeous. And so that's pretty much it for me, guys. I'm really happy with the way that this tutorial came out. Wow, really a lot better than I thought. Let's see what that looks like. Just gotta preview that while we're ending out the video. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Still planning that animation reel for 1,000 subscribers. I really can't wait to do that, guys. I'm having a lot of fun making a lot of animations and giving you guys the Opentoonz tutorials that you need. Speaking of, if you guys have any ideas for tutorials, make sure to leave them in the comments so I can see them and make a video about them ASAP. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.